Yes, the final question that I have is, our movie is about the Buddhist sculptors of Japan. And we talk about the Buddhist statues. In Japanese, we say bustuzo. Yes, in Tibetan Buddhism, what's the role of a bustuzo, Buddhist statues? Please tell us.
Okay, so the images of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are reminders of our own awakened potential. Right now, our minds are clouded with delusion. We still have grasping, clinging, and aversion. We still have anger, ignorance in our minds. But eventually, we can all become fully awakened to the true nature of things, awakened to the true nature of ourselves, right? So when we look at a Buddha image, we see an awakened being who has understood the true nature of things, who is full of compassion, full of wisdom. And that inspires us to also realize our own true nature, our true awakened nature. And that inspires us to do meditation and other practices to achieve the same state of realization that a Buddha has realized. So in the beginning, they did not make images. In the beginning, they had a Bodhi tree, but it was empty. But after some time, maybe a few hundred years, they started to make representations or images of the Buddha. Now, I don't know that anyone understands exactly what the Buddha looked like, but we notice that most of the images of the Buddha are very calm, peaceful, serene. Of course, there is the chubby Buddha, but that's a Chinese representation of the future Buddha, Maitreya. So people often ask that, what's with the chubby Buddha? But that Buddha would be Maitreya Buddha, who will be the coming Buddha. But, we can represent the Buddha in many different forms. And in China, they quite like the idea of someone who had plenty to eat. And so they represented the future Buddha in this form. But you'll notice when you go to different countries, the Buddha takes different forms. In Thailand, the Buddha tends to be quite skinny. In Cambodia, it tends to be quite full-featured. In China, they tend to be very glorious. Different artists will create different images of the Buddha. So according to their own realization, right? So yeah, that there is a formula though. In the Tibetan tradition, they rely a lot on this kind of iconography because they use visualization as a meditation practice. So they'll meditate on the form of a Buddha or a Bodhisattva and try to get it exactly in their mind's eye. Then they will also imagine themselves as an awakened Buddha in that form, as the embodiment of all the Buddha's wisdom, the embodiment of all the Buddha's compassion. In other words, they will simulate the state of enlightenment. So for this reason, when we go into a Tibetan monastery, we don't just see the life of the Buddha, we see images of many awakened beings, right? Some male, some female, in many different forms. And there's a particular grid that they follow. It's not just free form. They have a particular geometrical schematic that they follow for creating these Buddha images and images of the Bodhisattvas. But then they can get more creative with the background. Here in Hawaii, we even have artists who paint tropical backgrounds behind the Buddha. It's also very beautiful.